The ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro isn't just another handheld, it's a tablet, laptop and gaming PC all in one. Whether you're working, streaming or gaming, this device adapts to your needs. In this review we dive into its design, performance, benchmarks and gaming experience to see if it truly delivers. Is this the ultimate 3-in-1 device? Let's find out. The ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro with detachable kickstand measures around 9.9 by 6.4 by 0.6 inches and weighs around 958 grams. With the controllers attached, it makes it wider up to 14 inches and 1.07 kg. And with the keyboard attached, it makes it a little thicker to around 0.8 inches and weighs 1.35 kg. Taking up the majority of the front is a 10.95 inch LTPS touchscreen with up to 120Hz refresh rate at 2560 by 1600 resolution. We know from the previous X1 AMD model the screen was great looking, and it's the same on this one. On the left side we have two USB-C 4 ports for charging and connecting high-speed peripherals. Below that is the slot to slide in and secure the left controller. On the right side there is a USB-A 3.2 port and a microSD card reader. Below those are the slots to slide in and secure the right controller. The bottom side has 4 contacts which are used to magnetically attach the keyboard. The top from left to right has a power button with integrated fingerprint scanner. There's a covered area for the 3.5mm headphone jack and an OCuLink port for connecting to an eGPU. And to the right there is a button that brings up the ONEXPLAYER screen overlay. The controllers easily slide into place on the ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro. Once in, they are ready to use as you normally would. The controllers feel very secure when attached, and there's barely any movement with the connection. The controls themselves have all effect analogues and linear triggers. Available separately is a controller connector. You can simply slide in the 2 controllers and play with the X1 Pro on a table, or connect it up to a TV. It has a rechargeable battery to power it all and comes with a USB dongle for the wireless connection, so you could use it with other devices as well. It is very useful if you don't want to buy an additional gamepad to play in a non-handheld mode. Keyboard measures around 10 by 6.5 by 0.2 inches and weighs around 150 grams. It connects effortlessly and remains securely connected thanks to the fairly strong magnets. There are 2 levels of brightness on the keyboard backlight, or you can switch it off if not required. The keys themselves are low profile and very easy to type on. I typed this review using the keyboard and had no issues at all. The touchpad has clickable areas for left and right mouse buttons. You can also use finger gestures as well for navigation. The design of the ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro, like its previous model, is a great design that allows you to configure it how you want. Want to do office work? Then connect the mini keyboard. If you want to take notes or browse socials, then use the tablet. Or if you want to game, connect the 2 controllers. The ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro features the AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370 processor with AMD Radeon 890M graphics. We have seen these from other recently reviewed devices that the performance improves over the previous generation, and we will check that again shortly. For RAM, there is a choice of 32 or 64 gigs LPDDR5X RAM, and depending on the RAM, there's options of 1, 2 or 4 TB of SSD storage. For communications, there is Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2. Powering the device is a 65.02 Wh rechargeable battery. In our tests, whilst running Cinebench on a loop at full brightness at 28 watts TDP, we got a battery life of 1 hour 25 minutes. In our HX370 tests, it beat the previous longest battery with the GPD WinMax 2 by 5 minutes, which is great. Average usage will get you between 3 to 6 hours depending on demand. In our fan noise and thermal tests, also tested while running Cinebench, we got a highest fan noise of 59 decibels and highest temperature of 59 degrees C. As always, we run some system and gaming benchmarks to test the performance of the device, as well as compare it with other HX370 based devices. Please note that our benchmarks are based on the same Windows and AMD drivers without any tweaking of CPU or GPU power balances. Let's see how the ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro gets on. PCMark runs a series of tests for your more day-to-day usage, ranging from web browsing and working with large office documents, through to more demanding tasks such as image editing and rendering. We got an overall score of 6,800, the lowest result in our HX370 devices so far. This could be due to slightly slower RAM, CPU or SSD speed, for example. Cinebench tests the performance of the CPU single and multi-cores. We get a single core score of 118, which takes first place, and in multi-core we get 960, again taking first place. Great results here. For 3D Mark we are running the TimeSpy, Night Raid and Firestrike benchmarks. We get slightly lower than average scores on TimeSpy and Night Raid, and improved scores on Firestrike. Overall not too bad, middle of the park. And for our gaming benchmarks, we test at 1080p and 720p at a range of TDP settings to see the performance differences. Again, all devices are using the same Windows and AMD drivers without any tweaking, only the TDP value is changed. For Forza Horizon 5 we are running on the default lowest graphics settings. At 1080p we get 102 frames per second. It's the lowest score compared with 117 on the GPD WinMax 225. And at 720p across the TDP ranges, we get lower results until around 10 watts TDP where it balances out. On Shadow of the Tomb Raider we are running on the lowest graphics settings. Again at 1080p we see the lowest scores of 78 frames per second compared to 87 on the WinMax 225. At 720p we see some more competitive scores, and at 10 watts TDP we see it overtake all the devices. For Cyberpunk we are running on the default lowest graphics settings with no FSR enabled. At 1080p we see more competitive scores compared to the other benchmarks, and at 720p we again see more competitive scores. While still in last place, they are closer. For the system benchmarks we see average scores across them, even taking first place on Cinebench. And for the gaming benchmarks we see scores mainly in the lower end, which is not great. But the benchmark results do suggest more power is being given to the CPU rather than the GPU, similar to what we saw in the Iron Neo 3. You can tweak this in software such as Handheld Assistant. For our gaming performance test we are playing games at their best settings to keep it above 60 frames per second. In many cases you can also change settings to 120Hz if you wish to. For Avowed we are running at 1600p screen resolution at 28 watts TDP. We enabled AMD Fidelity FX3 on the quality settings. The graphics are mostly on the low settings with a couple of medium ones thrown in. UFO 50 is a very low demanding game. You can run this at 1600p screen resolution with only 5 watts TDP. For Dungeons of Hinterberg we are running at 1600p on the highest quality graphic settings. You can lower the TDP a little to save battery life. For Palworld we are running at 1600p at 28 watts TDP. We set the graphics to medium for decent quality and performance. And a great chill out game is Power Wash Simulator. We are running at 1600p with 28 watts TDP. We went with the high quality graphics settings for this one. You can easily enjoy all of your classic retro consoles, handhelds and computers right up to the PlayStation 3 era with little issue. With most systems you can improve the visuals with rendering resolution increases, and also other graphics tweaks with little impact on performance. Let's take a look at a few systems. For DuckStation we set it to 8x rendering resolution. You can even lower the TDP. 3D games look great when upscaled. For PC SX2 our go-to game Outrun was running great at 3x rendering resolution. For other games you can go higher if you want, or keep the original resolution and lower the TDP. For RPCS3 you will find many compatible games that run great. We tried our go-to games and had no issues with performance. For Vita 3K, compatible games run very well. With many low to medium demanding games, you can increase the rendering resolution to 2x. Other games may have performance issues due to not full compatibility. And for Yuzu, we saw good performance. Your low to mid-range demanding games should run fine. Higher demanding games may require a few tweaks, even lowering the rendering resolution to get them playable. The ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro has an OCuLink port which you can use with eGPUs such as the ONEXGPU series. We tested with the new ONEXGPU 2. Keep an eye out for our full review coming soon. We got some great results. As a brief comparison, we were getting around 102 frames per second on the iGPU on Forza Horizon 5. And with the ONEXGPU 2, we got around 180 FPS on the internal display and 200 FPS on external displays with the same settings. When we originally reviewed the X1 AMD, we mentioned that the setup was interesting. The 3-in-1 tablet, mini laptop and gaming handheld design was something which set it apart from other devices. It makes it more versatile as a laptop or tablet for your day-to-day tasks and then a gaming handheld for leisure. In terms of performance, we see a mix of high and lows. The power balance for the CPU and GPU can be tweaked to be more in line with other handhelds, so we are not overly concerned about the performance, but it is something to keep aware of if you simply want a plug-and-play device. For your day-to-day workloads, whether at home or in the office, the ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro will be able to handle them with ease. You can lower the TDP and have many hours of web browsing and playing media, etc. Or with higher TDPs, your more demanding tasks such as working with large office documents, image or video editing. And simply connect the controllers and you can enjoy the latest games at playable settings. The large 10.95-inch display with 120Hz refresh rate means that you can enjoy higher refresh rates in games that support it. They look and play great. We were big fans of the original X1, and the new X1 Pro with higher performance processor is perhaps not worth upgrading to if you have the original. But if you are on the search for a 3-in-1 tablet, laptop and gaming handheld, the ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro is definitely worth your consideration. You can learn more about the ONEXPLAYER X1 Pro and order yours from us at DROIX. Visit droix.co.uk or droix.net for worldwide shipping. And if you found this review helpful, please subscribe to keep up to date with the many reviews and videos coming up that you won't want to miss out on. Drop a comment below with your favourite gaming handheld. I'd love to hear what you're gaming on. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.